Hey, how's it going, everyone? My name is Victor, and I am your new host for Artist Banter. Artist Banter is the Long Beach Current Arts and Live podcast where we talk all things arts with local artists from on campus and beyond. Joining me today is my co-host, Delfino Camacho.
Hello, everyone. It's Delfino Camacho, your frequent co host here on Artist Banter and the Arts and Life editor for the Long Beach Current. Listen along as we talk all things music with Miss Penny Lane.
Penny Lane is here in studio to tell us about her music career, her musical influences, her growing up, and her creative process. So, Penny, thank you so much for making the trip down. We appreciate you. How are you doing today?
I'm doing so good. Thank you for asking. Thank you for having me.
Again, thank you for making the trip.
Of course.
How was the trip here?
It's really easy. It's really nice. Shout out the bus. It was smooth. It was very nice.
$20.
20 bucks.
And
From San Diego, we should say.
Yeah. I go to school now at SDSU, so I'm originally from Long Beach, so it's only 2 hours. It's not that bad, but it feels like it's very far apart. Like, I went on a walk today, and I was just looking at all the things that are by my house, and I was like, oh, I miss this. Just swam in the Marine Stadium. It was nice.
Nice. Well, before we get into your music career, right, let's get a little bit of background about yourself. Like, who is Penny Lane?
I've never been asked that before. I've never really been asked about,
No pressure.
myself. I don't know. I mean, I like to think that I'm a very creative person. I think that music has always been such a big influence on my life. My dad's a musician. So I've always grown up with so many different types of music. So I think that just influenced me as a person. Songwriting is a really big thing of mine. I love reading too. So books and the power of words have been very important to me. So I think that as a songwriter too, it's helped me. I don't know. I can't really think of other things.
You mentioned, music being a big part of your family, and your dad being a musician himself. So I have a feeling I know a little bit of this, but can you tell us about where you get your interesting name from, Penny Lane?
My name is Penny Lane after the Beatles song Penny Lane, and then my brother's name is John. So my dad's a huge fan of the Beatles, so huge fan of music. But I love telling people that because it's like a good icebreaker.
It was meant to be.
It was meant to be, exactly.
I guess on that end, what were some of your early musical influences? You're a musician now. You've released some recent music. Maybe some family members, as you mentioned, that inspired you. But what were your early influences?
Wow, that's a good one. I think that I started, as I started to become a songwriter, I started listening to Jeff Buckley a lot. Really started to get into him a lot. The Sundays, too. I really liked the way that, it could be, a fun story to tell. It didn't have to be so, like a play-by-play of what's happening. It's like, this is a story, and it's going to come together, and then, the bass comes, and then the guitar, and then the drums, I think that the Sundays do a really good job with storytelling like that. And then as I started to write about, more, serious topics, to me, I think Phoebe Bridgers was a really good influence for me, because, it's this, angry, aggressive type of, at least in my eyes, to me, it's she's just letting it all out. She just doesn't really care. So I think that was a good way for me to push myself with my music, just be this is how I feel, and I'm just going to say it, and just, put it all out there.
So it sounds like you really prefer, and I don't mean to make assumptions, you really prefer sort of the broad storytelling songs as opposed to maybe more by the numbers, here's the refrain, here's the chorus.
Yeah. I kind of just, also I'm still pretty new to songwriting, I guess, and figuring out my own voice, I think. But yeah, I'd say that I'm very all together and figuring things out for itself.
So you mentioned that you were raised in a family of musicians, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Is it just your dad that was a musician, or your mom?
I mean, my mom played the flute in high school.
that counts. That counts.
So I'd say probably not, but no, my dad, I think ever since he got a guitar when he was in 8th grade, it just took off for him, everything. But it's just my dad. And it's kind of weird because no one else in his family is musical like that. He has his own band now. So he's been through genre to genre. He used to do rock music, and then he started doing gypsy jazz music in Europe. And then he came back to rock for a little bit, and now he's in a Frank Sinatra type band.
Oh, man.
So he's kind of been
really exploring the spectrum.
Yes, exactly. But that's what music's all about.
So what was the name of his band?
The one he's in now?
Or every single one he's been in?
Jeffrey Scott and his amazing band was the first one.
That's a winner. That's fantastic. I'm not even kidding.
Jeffrey Scott, that's his name. So it's all about him. I'm kidding, no. So Jeffrey Scott and his amazing band, and I think it was Gonzalo Bergaro's Quartet, I think, was the name of their gypsy music. And then right now the band he's in is the Black Market Trust. So he had a gig last night, actually.
Oh,
Do they have
congratulations,
any,
Sam.
Do they have any music out right now?
Yes, they do. They're on Spotify. Black Market Trust.
Check it out.
Check it out. That's my dad's music.
No, so I brought that up because I kind of wanted to get into your singing. So you were raised in a family of musicians, essentially. Was there ever a point where you realized, hey, I can sing? Maybe let me try this out.
Yeah, I think it was because, gosh, I think I was probably in like elementary school. I always had done like chorus concerts and stuff, but I didn't really ever take it seriously until I like, well, what if I did a solo? What if I just sang? And then I was like, wait, I really like this. Like, I like the way it makes me feel. Like, I like talking to all these people and feel like, I'm singing. Like, this is so fun to me. And then as I started getting into high school, I did musical theater. And then I also felt like this could be something I could really do. But it really wasn't until I was like a junior in high school when I started writing my own songs and finding my own voice instead of just singing other people's songs, where I could be, comfortable with myself and be like, this is something I really want to pursue. And this is something I really, really want to do.
I know earlier you mentioned that as part of your writing, you read a lot as well. You love to read. We asked about your musical influences. Are there any literature influences in your writing? Is there anything that comes to mind when you're writing, or do you keep those things separate?
I think that they sometimes like go into one another. They kind of like bleed through. I'd say that this is kind of getting not niche because it's like everyone knows like authors, but like I'd say like Eve Babbitt's like the casual like flow of the way that I like to write. It's like I just want it to be like a nice like that the Sunday's like just a story to tell, not so piece by piece, and just this is a very casual tone and this is the way that I'm feeling and these are the things that I'm saying type of stuff. So I'd say that she passes through my head a lot when I'm like reading things like that. I think it's Mary Gaitskill too. She's like a short story author, and I feel like it's like a very casual way for me about like the way that I write, because it just comes out of me and I'm just like writing all the things I can at once.
Well, since you brought up, it just comes naturally to you in terms of, writing music. I actually want to break your mind a little bit. I'm curious to know what is your thought process, your creative process when it comes to writing any piece of music? What goes through your head? What influence do you look at?
Usually I'll just take a guitar and I'll just come up with like the rhythm for it first. I'll mess with some chords, try different. I'll either pick my fingers or I'll just strum it. I'll slow it down or speed it up. And when I find the tempo and the chords and everything that I like, then I just kind of close my eyes and just start strumming, and whatever comes out, it usually will be a couple of words, and then it'll turn into a sentence. I'm like, okay, this can turn into something. So usually I'll either have like an actual songbook that I would write all my songs in, or if I'm like not really planning anything, I'll have my phone out with me, and it just starts to come together. And I'm very grateful that it comes out very naturally and organically. I feel like I never have to force anything when I'm writing a song. And sometimes I'll jot down things at any moment. Like I'll go back into my notes app and be like, oh, I wrote this down. This would be perfect for this part right here. And I start to mix and match other things that I've written or other things that I've said, and it comes together. I sometimes add things, get rid of them. But I feel like it all just comes together very nicely. And then I usually always make the verses first. And I make a good solid verse, and I find out which story I want to tell, and then I start with usually the second verse too, and then I'll make the chorus its own, because I know that that's what's going to be repeating for the rest of the time. So I want to make sure that that's the thing that's tying everything together is the chorus. So I usually do verse and then the choruses, and then I do like a bridge or something like that, or a breakdown, usually like organically as it comes together, because I like to hear everything as it swells. So I'd say that's the process.
No, thank you for going through it.
I'm sorry, I was very analytical.
No, that's perfect.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask, clearly you understand music very deeply and very technically. Does that just come intuitively from growing up with music, or was there ever a time in your in middle school and high school where musical theater maybe where you were taking classes and learning these things, or did you just pick it up?
I think I just picked it up, honestly. I think that I found a lot of the artists I listen to now, I found on my own. My dad's like 50. He listens to rock music and AC/DC. They're good songwriters, but it's not like it moves you in a way. Maybe it does to some people. But so I think that I found the process and what music means to me on my own. And once I came up with my own interpretation of what I want music to be, I was able to come up with something that felt so natural. So I'd say that it was a very personal on my own intuitive thing.
Thank you.
Well, speaking of music, I actually want to talk about some of the music you've produced. I want to talk about your singles. Let me get them correctly. I Don't Wanna Be. I believe that was your first original
Yes, it was.
song. And your new recent song, which is out on Spotify, Apple Music, and our
All
respected
streaming
streaming platforms. No plug shade. It's called Give You What You Want, correct? I actually want to get your thought process behind that. How did that come to be? What was the writing process like? What inspired it? And how do you feel emotionally when you sing it and perform it?
Which one? Both of them, or?
It could be any, all the above, whatever you feel more comfortable with.
Okay, I'll do I Don't Want to Be my first single because I feel like that's a good story. I like the story of that one. So I came up with the song. I swear, it sounds like I'm lying when I say this. I came up with the song probably in like 10 minutes. It just immediately. I found the chords that I'd been messing with for a while, and I was just, dun, 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 and I went, don't tell me where you were, and it just kind of like fell apart into something. So I just like it fully came together, and I just kept writing and writing. I was on my laptop at the time, so I just kept typing, and I wrote that song before I knew I wanted to fully release it. So I spoke with my engineer, and I was like, okay, this is the song I want to release. I had no idea what the vision was going to be for it. I always thought it would be just an acoustic type of, very laid back track, just stripped down vocals and guitar. But I came into the studio, and my engineer was like, this could be very like 70s type of like Clairo type vibe, like very nice with all these like bells and piano and stuff. And it did. I got a pianist to come, and he played. He just heard the song and kind of just improv with it. So that was just such a fun process, like getting to add and be like, I think you should do this, or no, I think you should do that. Like the creative process was just so much fun. I'm really smiling about thinking about it. Like it was so cool. Just everything came together really nicely with that one. And that was the first song that I ever released publicly. Like that was my own on Spotify and stuff. So that was just such a like good step forward, I'd say, for me, and I'm very proud of that song. I love that song. I love that song.
Speaking of which, I believe you actually got to not produce but perform one of your songs on one of those clothing brands.
Yes.
I believe they're called Brandy McVell. Is that
Brandy
correct?
Melville, yes.
Is that how I'm pronouncing it? Tell me about that. How did that come to be? Who reached out? And how was your overall experience performing?
So this was I'm going to give a little bit of a preface about me. So I was completely terrified of singing in public. It was one of my worst fears. I hated it. I would have vocal performances, and I would cry to my parents, being like, please don't come. Like I was shaking. I was horrified to sing. I wrote all these songs, and I just couldn't do anything about it, but I knew it was what I needed to do. So then, start of my senior year, I was just like, you know what? It's my senior year. I need to do something about this. I can't be afraid anymore. So I just did it. I started releasing my music on Instagram. And once I started getting, I don't want to say positive feedback, but like, I had the support of my friends and family. I was like, I can do this. So I reached out to Brandy Melville. I sent them an email, and I was like, I think I'm ready for this. This is the first thing that I'm willing to do, and I'm going to do it. So I emailed them. I sent them some links to my Instagram and just previous songs I'd recorded and, uploaded to YouTube and stuff. And they said they would love to have me. So I was very, very excited. Told all my friends because it was the first like real thing I'd done. And then I went to their like little recording studio thing in LA. Got some clothes. It was nice. And then I just sang my 2 original songs, and then I did a cover of If by Bread, which was really nice. But performing my original songs was a very unique experience because that was really the first time anyone had heard the I Don't Want to Be song ever, because I had just written that. So that was pretty cool. I liked it. It was very nice. Very, very fun.
Cool. You actually brought this up. I was actually going to bring this up at some point, but you brought up the fact that you're terrified of public speaking, performing in front of an audience, right?
Yeah.
I actually want to ask, first I want to ask if it came naturally to you, but you already mentioned that you're terrified. So I was going to follow up by saying, how did you get over your fear? What was your mindset now, I guess, when performing?
Yeah, it was just, I need to do this. The music is something that is such a gift, and I know that I've never loved something so much as I do with music. I just needed to get over myself. Like, it was all myself. So I really, like, physically had to push myself. Like, the very first video I ever uploaded of myself singing on Instagram, I posted it, like, through my phone. And I was like, I'm not going to look at it. I'm not going to, like, whatever happens with it. And then, like, 3 hours later, all my friends had texted me and been like, I'm so proud of you for doing this, because they knew how, like, how hard of a time it had been for me with my music. But I'm forever grateful that I did that because, you know, led me to here. So everything happens for a reason. But yeah, it was a definite push. It was a real big
Cool.
push.
Has your life changed in any direction ever since you started, you know, gaining more traction, getting into music, whether positive or negative? Has that exposure added any more to your life now than it was before?
Yeah, I think that a lot of people, which was such a cool thing, like when people meet me, they go, "You're Penny Lane, the musician, right?" I'm like, "That's so cool. Like, that's so cool. Like, people know me for something that I love. Like, that's so, so cool." Like, I was over at like a friend's house and some girl just came up to me and went, "You're Penny Lane. You do the music stuff, right? I saw your videos. You're really great." I'm like, "What? This is so cool." And then, you know, moving from Long Beach to San Diego and, you know, meeting a whole new group of people and then releasing my new single while it was still very beginning of the year, meeting all these new people and people still being like, "Wait, you make music, right? You're Penny Lane, you're the musician." It's like, wait, like, what? This is so weird to me. But it's just more of people recognizing me for like my music and people respecting it. I feel like a lot of people would think that if I were to make music, it'd be kind of like, I don't know, like ditzy and not like, I don't know, have value or meaning to it. So I think that when people listen to my music and they realize, like, really look at the things I'm saying and, you know, for people who know me, they know how much I care about this. You know, they really see, you know, how meaningful it is and how I don't want to say good. I'm not going to toot my own horn, but like, you know, it's something I can be proud of. So.
Hey, you can be as confident, you know, say I'm
humble
the
as you wanna
greatest
be.
musician coming up.
I'm not going to be, I'm the best musician in the world.
Right.
I'm not.
I know you mentioned you're dorming in at San Diego right now, and you live here. And you were mentioning off mic that you found something of a little musical community in San Diego. I was wondering if maybe you wanted to just tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So one of my like first real weekends in San Diego after I'd moved in, there was a band in San Diego called Fofer, and it was very kind of rocky type stuff, and I had never really gravitated towards that, but I met a lot of people through them, and not that I never spoke to them, but like who were at that concert. And there's like a very big, like there was a recording studio on campus, so people can rent it out to go perform. I'm friends with someone who has had their own band back at their hometown, so he's a drummer, and he started meeting all these people who were, you know, bassists, lead vocalists, guitarists, and everyone's from a lot of different genres. So I've met people who are starting bands. There's like fashion magazines at my campus too, and they hire bands to play. So it's a lot of different people from a lot of different genres, and it's very, very cool. It's very, very cool. It's very fun. They have great personalities, really funny people, like, and we all can just talk about music and know that we understand each other. Like, we know what it's like. It's like its own language.
On that note specifically, you mentioned you had musical interests your entire life, but what are some of the benefits of, it seems like you're entrenched in this like creative musical communities. You feel like it's helping you, or it may be giving you some new insight? Yeah,
I think that because a lot of the musicians I listen to, they're kind of like variants of I don't want to say variants of each other, but like they follow the same genre and stuff. So being at San Diego has introduced me to like a whole new, like I've always liked shoegaze music, but I've never really gotten like into it. So with a lot of the people I've met at San Diego who are in that type of, I don't want to say punk rock scene because it's not really that prominent there, but like I've met and listened to a lot of new artists that I'd never thought I would before. So it makes me appreciate, like, you know, everyone else's own creativity, and it comes to everyone differently. So
I actually wanted to ask some fun questions.
Okay.
You know, not to put you on the spot, but, you know, you can be, you know, these are really, really funny. So if you had to pick a song to be the representation of your life as a soundtrack, what would it be?
Oh, God. It's like when, you know, people see, like, what's your top 5 movies on Letterboxd? Like, I can't think of anything. Okay, I'd probably say Sarah by Fleetwood Mac. I was listening to that today, and every single time I listen to that song, it's just, I don't know, it makes me feel something. It makes me feel like I'm connected to it in a way. I don't know, that sounds kind of cringy, but it's the truth.
Do you have any guilty pleasures that you would not tell somebody that you enjoy?
So tell us.
Or all the audience watching?
I'm trying to think. I genuinely don't think I have one. I feel like I watch How I Met Your Mother a lot.
Yeah. That counts.
That counts. I literally am obsessed with that show. I'm obsessed with it. Literally obsessed with it. You can ask my roommates. You can ask my friends. I'd say How I Met Your Mother.
Well, if you have any, you know, for the future, right? If you were to choose either past or present Is there an artist you would love to collaborate with, whether it's past, present, current, dreams?
I'd probably want to really collaborate with, I'd say, Stevie Nicks. I love Fleetwood Mac. I love Stevie Nicks. She's the reason I want to be a songwriter. So I'd really want to collaborate with her, but like if I could honestly just hang out with anyone, it'd be Paul McCartney. Like that'd be so cool. And then I just want to talk to him about music because I feel like he has a lot of, obviously he's very talented, so he's got a lot of good ideas. But I don't know, maybe a cross between those two.
Nice.
You know, we've mentioned a bunch of times how you're not just a university student, but a university student over San Diego. I'm assuming from time to time you're going to come visit family here in Long Beach, and you're deep in your music career. As one student to another, like where do you find the time? How do you keep the music work from becoming maybe work, if that makes any sense, or is that never an issue?
No, that was something I really thought about as I was going in. Sorry, as I was going to college, there was a time where I was just staying up all night because I felt like, to me at least, that I had to make a decision between being a student and being a musician. And to me, I love school. I always liked it. So I love school, but I also love music. I love music more than school, but it was, am I willing to give up school for music? That's something nobody knows what you're going to do when you go into music. You could have this one amazing moment that lasts, but then it's get taken away from you, or you have to work and work and work and work. You just never know where you're going to get with music. But when it comes to like my being a student and being a musician, I try to balance them out as best as I possibly can. When I want to release a song or something, I have to go out to LA to do it. So I think that would be good for me to like plan those trips to go down, because it will usually be a weekend because I have classes, throughout the week. So I think maybe I could create like a schedule or something if I'm like, okay, got some new songs in the works. I'm going to plan a week where I can go out and just focus on that for however long I need to. But it gets stressful sometimes because I care a lot about music, and sometimes I feel like I'm doing music a disservice when I'm focusing on school, because I feel like it deserves to get all my attention, and then when I don't, I feel like what I'm making is bad, or like what I'm doing this sucks, So hopefully I'll find the happy medium as I go on to school and do more music things. So I don't know, I have some faith in myself with that. Right. Yeah.
What is your ultimate end goal for your music career? What do you hope to achieve?
I mean, I think everyone says this when they're a musician, but I don't know. I want to win a Grammy. That'd be cool. That'd be nice.
Clip it.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's always been a dream of mine ever since I was little. I've always just wanted to be a musician. And sometimes I forget that this is what I do. I'm focused on my school and social life there. I don't really think about the fact that music is something that's so prominent in my life because I'm young. I'm like 18. I don't know what I'm doing. Like everything's so new to me. But yeah, my eventual goal would be to win a Grammy probably.
For what category? Best album?
Maybe best new artist? Best new artist? Yeah. I'd want to win that. That'd be very cool. Yeah. I have dreams about that sometimes.
That's nice.
Yes.
Nice.
Going really quick back to the summer. You had a very busy summer this summer. I believe you released something. Your newest single was released just last month. Mm-hmm. You released some stuff in between. And you talked a little bit about how sometimes your writing inspiration is just like a lightning bolt. Mm-hmm. It comes. But for this summer, so much of the work release, was this sort of a culmination of stuff you'd been working for a while? Or does a lot of it kind of come to you very in the moment?
Specifically for this summer, it was stuff that I'd been working on before. The I Don't Want to Be song came to me in like February, so it was written very quickly. And then I did the Brandy Melville thing in March. So that was the first time I performed it. But I kind of let my songs like marinate. I kind of sit on them because I'm like, and then I listen back to it and I go, am I sure I want this? Am I sure I want that? Usually the answer tends to be yes. I just need to like take a step back from it and listen to it again. But yeah, this summer it was all just things that I'd sat on, and I've written a little bit of some new stuff this summer. But like my new single, the Give You What You Want, I wrote that in January. Okay. So a lot of the stuff I've written, it's been marinating, it's been sitting. But I've been, making some new stuff, changing some lyrics to old stuff I've written, trying to, mix and match. But yes.
What would you say is the hardest part about being a musician and getting into this space?
Probably finding your sound. I think that when I listen to a lot of musicians, I want to sound like them or I want to be like them. and then, you know, you have to kind of realize that you're your own person and you have to find your own voice. And it's kind of hard to do that, especially when you make your own songs. It has to be something that nobody else has heard before, but not too far off to where they're like, what is this?
Too
like,
experimental,
yeah,
too
too
weird.
experimental. Exactly. So I think that I'm still trying to find my voice with the songs I've written and, you know, the songs I want to make in the future. But I have confidence in myself at this point where I know what the type of stuff I want to do. So, yeah, I'd say that.
Well, I guess let me kind of flip it too. What is the best part about being a musician?
Finding your voice. I have to.
No, I get it.
It is. Like,
it's real.
It's the best and worst part. Like, knowing that, like, when I first released my song, like the new song I released, Give You What You Want, I was on campus and I listened to it walking to my class. I bet I looked like an idiot. I was smiling from ear to ear. I was just like holding my backpack, like smiling. I was so happy that I made something. Like, this is something, like, I made this song. It was just so foreign to me. Like, even it's such a rewarding process because you put so many hours into it. And it's your emotions. It's how I feel, you know? I felt like I was never going to be good enough for this person. And now I have all these people listening to that. Like, it's the weirdest yet the best feeling ever. Like, I think I'd say, like, and knowing that that's mine and that's my voice and that's who I am and what I produce, like, it's just so cool. I really like it.
Cool. Do you ever feel like, you know, sometimes we'll have a playlist, we'll have, like, you know, the artists we love to listen to. Do you ever listen to your own music in that way? Or do you feel like just weird hearing your own voice and like, damn, like, you know what I mean? Like, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Sometimes when my songs first are released, I listen to them, but not in a critical way. I'm just listening to it because I'm like,
I made this.
Exactly. I will never ever put on my song in public in front of people. Like, I would never, I can't hear myself. It's like, you know, when you hear actors being like, I can't watch a movie I'm in. Like, I'm the same. I can't hear myself sing, really. Like, when it comes to like little short clips of me, I can get through it, but I can't. I don't put it on for my own enjoyment. That's like more of
the process more for you.
Yeah. It's more of like, I worked really hard through it. I'm gonna listen to the final mix, and then when I release it, I'll also listen to it finally with the album cover and everything on Spotify or wherever I'm listening to it. And that's it. Haven't really listened to it since it came out. I listened to it that one day I released it, and it's on my liked songs, and that's about it. That's about it.
Not to put too much pressure, but any upcoming projects or anything you could tease?
Yeah, I definitely am going to be releasing an EP soon. I have a lot of stuff with that, and I'm very proud of myself with that. Like, that was always a goal of mine. I always wanted to make an album, but, you know, that's a lot of work.
Small steps.
Yeah, exactly, small steps. But, yeah, and I'm very proud of myself for that. So, yeah, I have to say that, the EP, I guess.
Are you currently just solo, or are you planning on getting bandmates to kind of do backup vocals, bass, guitar?
I think that I'm going to stay solo only because I feel like nobody else can. My lyrics are everything to me, and this makes me sound like a certain way, but like, I don't really want other people to like tell me how I think, because that's how I think. I don't need anyone else telling me what my music should sound like. But obviously, when I have an idea for something, if I'm like, I want this certain guitar riff, if I want this certain bass or this drum, I'll ask my friends, because, you know, I'm very lucky that I have a lot of musically inclined friends, so they could help me out with that. But for now, I'm just going to be staying Penny Lane.
You want the freedom of sort of managing your sound as you see fit.
Exactly.
Without any weird conversations.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, if I'm saying a certain lyric, I don't want someone to say, oh, well, we could do this. It's like, no, like, not really. Like, I kind of want it to be this way because it's how I feel. Like, this is my story, you know? But obviously, if I get into a band, well, you know, we can do whatever. But for now.
I know you mentioned that typically the music comes first. You create the riff, the rhythm, and then the lyrics, you attach lyrics to it. As far as the lyrics go, do you usually find inspiration through your personal life, or do you base them off what you read, what you like, something you find interesting? Like, how are your lyrics in the music as far as like their meaning behind them?
Actually, I think every single song I've written has been extremely personal to me. It's been something that has happened to me, and when it does happen, I immediately write a song. That is my coping mechanism. That's how I deal with stuff like this, and it's so therapeutic, and it's so amazing that it comes out the way I want to. Like, it's just, I'm proud of it too. But all of the stuff that's happened to me is fairly personal, and, you know, can be embarrassing. Like, if you listen to the lyrics, it's like, oh, wow, like that happened. But you know, I'm proud of it now. I'm not ashamed of when I listen to my music to be like, I can't believe I let that happen to me. I can't believe I let this man walk all over me. Like, what am I doing with myself? Like, it's more of just like, it's music. It's a story. I hope that other people listen to it and maybe they were going through a similar situation and they hear it and it gives them some sort of, you know, validation for the way that they feel. That's like my main hope with people, is that they listen to my music and they can know that what they're going through can be like normal. Like everything isn't so specific, you know. They can listen to my music, just be like, yes, I understand, I feel this, you know.
More universal than
exactly.
You might think.
Yeah, that's always been a goal of mine, because I feel like a lot of songwriters, they talk about things more in general, but I want to talk about the way it makes me, like the I don't want to be song. I don't want to be another girl. Like, girl, you're walking all over me. Like, is she prettier than me? What else is she doing? What does she have that I don't, you know? And I don't think a lot of songs ever talk about something specific like that. So I feel like when that song came out, I had people text me that were like my friends, be like, this is one of my favorite songs. Like, you really you hit the nail on the head with that one. And I'd be like, oh, thank you. But that was just like the most rewarding thing for me when people say that, like, my music helped them or like made them feel better about themselves. Cause you know, it's amazing. It's a great feeling.
I know you're still really young, but as we learn, you're pretty accomplished. You've kind of done a lot in the music field. Any advice to maybe some other young student musicians in whatever genre, maybe specifically singer-songwriters, people that want to write their own music? Any advice you think you'd want to give?
Just let yourself feel when you're writing a song. I feel like a lot of people are scared to say the wrong thing, or because they know that people are going to hear it and associate it with them because they're the writer. Obviously, this has to be about them. That was kind of what I was afraid of too, but you just have to let yourself feel. Everyone feels. Everyone goes through things. You know, I've been through a lot of things. I think everyone's been through stuff. You just need to feel. You need to write. You need to just let it happen. You know, don't be afraid of what anyone else is going to think. This is your story. You shouldn't be afraid. That I had to get over that myself. So just trying to hope that anyone else who's going through the same thing, you know, it can help them write too and just get over it. I don't know. I'd say that, because it helps with songwriting and confidence as well. So,
Any don'ts you would say? Don't do to any inspiring upcoming musicians?
Don't have a bad social media footprint. Don't
Fair.
do that.
Important.
Luckily, I don't have that. But like just like stuff like that, where it's just like, you know, just be wise, make good decisions, I guess. I don't know.
And if you do, delete it as soon as possible. Like, goes for anything in life. Yeah.
Do not get yick yak. I'm kidding.
But thank you, Ms. Lane.
Of
Thank you very
course.
much for coming to join us. It was a great conversation.
Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you for making the long travel from San Diego to
You're
Long
very
Beach.
welcome. It was worth it.
It
Thank
was
you.
a pleasure having you on, and hopefully, when you make it big, we'll get free concert tickets.
Yeah,
to
we'll
your
have that
upcoming
clip.
show.
Oh gosh.
Have the Grammys to tell us so they can grab that clip.
And don't
Sounds
forget who launched your career. Who did, you know, this was a turning point. But yeah, thank you for having it.
Thank you very much.
Thank
It was
you.
a pleasure.
Thank you.